welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving deep into the world of Cane Corso care.
It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. You might be thinking about getting one of these awesome dogs, or maybe you already have one.
And you just want to step up your care game.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got all the info you need.
We've been digging through articles,
Forum discussions.
talking to Cane Corso owners and experts to figure out the best ways to keep your Corso clean, healthy, and happy.
It's all about practical knowledge you can actually use, right?
Exactly.
Cane Corsos might look tough, but they need specific care just like any other dog.
And honestly, grooming isn't just about looks. It's really important for their overall well-being.
Oh, totally.
We'll uncover some surprising tips that go beyond the basics.
Okay, so let's jump right into it. First up, brushing.
Brushing.
Now, Cane Corsos have those short coats.
Right.
So I'm thinking, do they even need much brushing?
That's what a lot of people think. But they do shed moderately year-round.
Real?
Yeah, those little short hairs get everywhere.
Oh, man. So like tiny ninjas.
Exactly. Regular brushing is key to keeping that shedding under control.
Plus, I'm guessing it helps keep their coat healthy.
That's right. It helps distribute those natural oils, gives them that nice shine.
Okay, so how often should we be brushing? Once a week, enough.
Once a week is a good starting point.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Cane Corsos have a big shedding season twice a year.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, usually in the spring and fall, and that's when you really need to step it up.
So like twice a week or even more?
Yeah, you might even need to brush daily to keep up with all that fur.
Wow, so get ready for a fur explosion?
Pretty much.
Okay, I'm making a note to stock up on lint rollers.
Good idea.
Okay, next up, bath time. How often do Cane Corsos actually need a bath?
Not as often as you might think. Every 6 to 8 weeks is usually plenty.
Okay, that's not too bad. Unless, of course, they decide to, roll in something disgusting.
Which, let's be real, is always a possibility with dogs, right?
That's true.
The key is to use a gentle shampoo. Something specifically made for dogs.
Right, their skin can be sensitive.
Exactly. Harsh shampoos can strip away those natural oils and cause irritation.
Makes sense. So what should I look for in a dog shampoo?
Look for shampoos with moisturizing ingredients. Oatmeal, aloe vera, coconut oil, things like that.
Got it. So gentle shampoos, check. Now let's move on to dental care.
Dental care, yes.
Honestly, how important is this for dogs?
It's so important. And you know what? It's one of the most overlooked things.
Really?
Think about it. They use their teeth for everything.
True. Eating, playing, giving those slobbery kisses.
Exactly. And if you neglect their dental hygiene, you get plaque and tartar buildup.
Right. Bad breath.
Oh, yeah, and gum disease.
Even tooth loss.
And it goes beyond that. Dental problems can actually affect their overall health, like their heart, liver, and kidneys.
Oh, wow. I had no idea it was that serious.
Yeah, it's something to really pay attention to.
So what's the secret to keeping their teeth clean?
Brushing. Several times a week, ideally every day.
Okay.
And use a toothpaste specifically designed for dogs.
Right. Not human toothpaste.
Exactly. That can be harmful if they swallow it.
So dog toothpaste. Got it. I'm guessing they're not going to be thrilled about me brushing their teeth.
Probably not at first, but you got to start slow. Introduce the toothbrush gradually.
And lots of praise.
Lots of praise. Maybe a small treat afterward.
Yeah, my dog is definitely motivated by treats.
And don't forget about dental chews and toys. Those can help too.
I can, right?
Yeah, they help scrape away plaque and tartar.
Awesome. So brushing, dental chews, and lots of positive reinforcement.
Got it. Okay, I'm feeling braver about tackling those canine teeth now.
That's the spirit. A healthy mouth means a happy Cane Corso.
Speaking of happy, let's move on to something I know a lot of dog owners dread: nail trims. Any tips for dealing with those Cane Corso claws?
Oh yeah, nail trims.
I'm not going to lie, I get a little intimidated by those.
It's a common struggle. First things first. Check their nails every few weeks.
Okay.
If you hear that clicking sound when they walk on hard floors.
Yeah, like tap dancing claws? Exactly. That's a sign it's time for a trim.
I always forget to check until they're practically scratching me.
And those Cane Corso claws can be sharp. Trimming their nails prevents them from getting overgrown, which can cause discomfort and pain. They could even have trouble walking.
Yikes. Okay, I'll try to be more diligent about checking.
And you'll need a good pair of nail clippers. One's made for dogs.
Are there different types?
Yeah, there are guillotine clippers and scissor-type clippers.
Okay.
It really comes down to personal preference.
And how do I know how much to trim? I'm always so scared of cutting into the quick.
I hear you. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Right.
You want to avoid cutting the quick, which is that pink part of the nail with the blood vessels and nerves.
Yeah, cutting the quick is not a good time for anyone.
If your dog has white or light-colored nails, you can usually see the quick pretty easily.
Okay, that makes sense.
But if they have dark nails, it can be trickier.
Right.
Just trim a little bit at a time and check often.
So small trims and frequent checks. Got it. But what happens if I do accidentally cut the quick?
Don't worry too much if it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It will bleed, but it's usually not serious.
Okay.
You can use styptic powder to stop the bleeding quickly.
Good to know. I'll keep some styptic powder on hand. Okay, we've covered brushing, bathing, dental care, and nail trims. What's next on the Cane Corso care agenda?
Let's talk about ear and eye care.
Okay, is that like cleaning human ears and eyes? Just a quick wipe and we're good?
It's kind of similar, but there are some important differences.
Okay, so what should I be doing for their ears?
You want to check their ears regularly for any signs of wax buildup,
Okay.
discharge, or redness.
So if I see any of that, or if their ears smell kind of funky,
Then it's time for a cleaning.
okay, what do I use to clean them?
A vet-recommended ear cleaner.
Makes sense. And
You want-
definitely no cotton swabs. Right.
Right. You don't want to push anything further into the ear canal.
Got it. Now, what about their eyes?
Cane Corsos, especially the ones with those wrinkly faces, they can get some eye discharge.
Okay.
Usually a gentle wipe with a damp cloth is all you need.
So regular checks and gentle care are key for both ears and eyes. Sounds like being proactive is really important here.
Absolutely. Catching things early can save you and your furry friend a lot of trouble later on.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground so far. Brushing, bathing, dental care, nail trims, ears, and eyes. Anything else I should be paying attention to when it comes to my Cane Corso's hygiene?
There's one more area that sometimes gets overlooked.
Okay, what's that?
Paw care.
Paw care. I thought just wiping those muddy paws when they come inside was enough.
Well, that's part of it. But their paw pads can get dry, cracked, or even injured, especially if they're active or if the weather's rough.
That makes sense. I hadn't really thought about that before. So what can I do to keep those paws in good shape?
First things first. Check their paws regularly for cuts, cracks, or anything stuck between the pads.
Like little pebbles or thorns?
Yeah, all those little things that dogs seem to find.
My dog is a magnet for those.
And during the winter, think about using a paw balm.
Oh, right, to protect their paws from the cold and salt.
Exactly.
That's a good tip. Okay, so we've talked a lot about general Cane Corso hygiene, but does their lifestyle play a role in their grooming needs? Like, would a working dog need a different routine than a family pet?
You know, that's a really good question, and you're right. A Cane Corso's lifestyle definitely influences their grooming needs.
So a working dog that's outside more might need baths more often.
Yeah, if they're getting dirty and grimy on a regular basis.
Makes sense. What about those pampered pups who spend most of their time lounging around?
Well, even those couch potatoes still need their grooming routine.
Okay.
You might not need to bathe them as frequently, but regular brushing and checks are still important.
So it's really about observing my dog's individual needs and adjusting their routine accordingly.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's all about what works best for your Cane Corso.
So it's about getting to know your dog and figuring out what they need.
That's a big part of it. And remember, grooming isn't just about keeping them clean. It's a chance to bond with your dog, build trust, and make it a positive experience for both of you.
I love that. Turning grooming into a bonding experience. Maybe my Cane Corso will even start looking forward to those spa days.
Maybe. It's all about making it positive.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground today. Brushing, bathing, dental care, nail trims, and even ear, eye, and paw care. What's the most important thing for our listeners to take away from this segment on grooming and hygiene?
I think the biggest takeaway is that grooming is about more than just looks. It's about keeping your Cane Corso feeling their best, too.
Oh, for sure.
It's an investment in their overall health and well-being.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And it doesn't have to be a chore.
Right.
With a little bit of knowledge and a dose of patience, it can actually be a really great way to bond with your dog.
Absolutely. That bond is what makes having a Cane Corso so special.
Well said. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into Cane Corso care, any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Think about your Cane Corso's lifestyle. How active are they? What kind of environment do they live in?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All of that influences how often they need certain grooming.
So pay attention to your dog's individual needs.
Exactly. That's how you keep them happy and healthy.
Awesome advice. So there you have it, folks. With a little bit of TLC and some regular grooming, your Cane Corso can be a fantastic companion for years to come.
And stay tuned for our next segment, where we'll dive into some other important aspects of Cane Corso care.
We'll be right back after a quick break. Welcome back to the deep dive. So we were just talking about all that hands-on care for your Cane Corso, right? Brushing, bathing, all that. But now we're going to shift gears a bit.
Yeah, let's dive into some of the health stuff.
Exactly. What kind of health issues are common with Cane Corsos? What should owners be aware of?
Well, like a lot of larger dog breeds, Cane Corsos can be prone to hip and elbow dysplasia.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of hip dysplasia. That's where the hip joint doesn't form, right?
That's it. And it can cause pain, lameness, and even arthritis later on.
That sounds rough. Is there anything I can do to prevent hip dysplasia in my Cane Corso?
You can't completely prevent it, but there are things you can do to minimize the risk.
But
Number one, find a reputable breeder who screens their dogs for hip dysplasia.
So responsible breeding practices are key. What else can I do?
Maintaining a healthy weight for your Cane Corso is super important.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Extra weight puts more strain on their joints.
Exactly. And regular exercise is also crucial.
Of course, got to keep them moving. But are there any types of exercise I should avoid, especially when they're puppies?
Yeah, you want to be careful with high-impact activities when they're young. Their joints are still developing.
So no crazy frisbee chases or jumping hurdles with a little puppy.
Probably best to stick with gentler stuff like walks, swimming, playing fetch in a controlled area.
Got it. Moderate exercise while they're young and then as they get older?
You can gradually introduce more intense activities.
Okay, makes sense. So we've got hip dysplasia. What other health issues are Cane Corsos prone to?
Another one is bloat. That's also known as gastric dilatation volvulus, or GDV.
I've heard that's really serious.
It is. It's when the stomach twists, and it can cut off blood supply.
Wow, that sounds terrifying. What are the signs of bloat, and what should I do if I think my dog is experiencing it?
Bloat can come on suddenly. Watch out for restlessness, a swollen belly, excessive drooling, and if they're trying to vomit but can't,
Okay.
if you see any of those signs, it's an emergency. Get your dog to the vet immediately.
Got it. Bloat is definitely something to watch out for. Are there ways to prevent it?
There are. Feeding your Cane Corso 2 or 3 smaller meals per day instead of one big meal can help.
Okay, smaller, more frequent meals. What else?
Avoid vigorous exercise right before or after meals.
So no playing fetch right after dinner.
Exactly. Let them rest and digest a bit first.
All right, I'll make sure to give them some downtime after meals. So hip dysplasia, bloat, anything else health-wise that's specific to Cane Corsos?
Well, they can also be susceptible to certain skin problems.
Oh, like what?
Things like allergies and demodectic mange. It's also called demodex.
Demodex, huh? What is that exactly?
It's a type of microscopic mite that lives on all dogs.
Wait, all dogs?
Yeah, they live in the hair follicles. Most of the time, they're not a problem. But if a dog's immune system is weak,
Okay.
the mites can overpopulate and cause irritation, hair loss, even infections.
So it's like a tiny bug that's usually harmless, but it can become an issue if their immune system isn't strong.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And if you notice any weird skin issues like excessive scratching, hair loss, redness, anything like that, check with your vet.
Good advice. It seems like preventative care is super important with Cane Corsos.
Absolutely. Regular vet checkups, vaccinations, and keeping up with parasite prevention, all those things are crucial for keeping them healthy.
Okay, that makes sense. We've talked about some physical health stuff, but I've also heard that Cane Corsos can have some behavioral quirks.
Yeah, there are a few things to be aware of.
Like what? What should owners watch out for?
Well, they have a really strong guarding instinct.
Right, they were bred as guard dogs.
Right, exactly. And that instinct can be a good thing.
How so?
It makes them excellent watchdogs, very protective of their family and home.
Okay, that makes sense. But I guess it could also be a problem sometimes.
Yeah, if those instincts aren't channeled properly, they can become overly territorial or even aggressive towards strangers or other dogs.
So early socialization is really important.
Super important. Exposing them to all sorts of people, dogs, and environments from a young age can make a huge difference.
So they learn how to differentiate between friend and foe, basically.
Exactly. And training is just as important as socialization.
What kind of training works best with Cane Corsos?
They really respond well to positive reinforcement methods.
So rewarding good behavior.
Exactly. Clear, consistent commands, lots of praise, treats, play, all of that good stuff.
So no harsh punishments or yelling.
No, definitely not. Those methods just don't work and can actually damage your bond with your dog.
Okay, good to know. I definitely want my Cane Corso to be a well-behaved and happy member of the family.
And with the right approach, they absolutely can be.
All right, we've covered a lot in this segment. Health concerns, behavioral stuff. What's the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the most important thing to remember is that Cane Corsos have specific needs, both physically and behaviorally.
Yeah.
Being aware of those needs and addressing them proactively is crucial.
It's all about being a responsible owner and giving them the best care possible.
Exactly. And that includes early detection of potential problems, preventative care, and consistent training.
Well said. A lot of people are attracted to cane corsos because they look so impressive.
They're striking dogs for sure.
But it's important to remember that owning one is a big responsibility.
It is. They need a dedicated owner who's willing to put in the time and effort.
So if you're thinking about getting a cane corso, do your research.
Talk to other Cane Corso owners, breeders.
Yeah, learn as much as you can about the breed.
Be prepared for the challenges.
But also the incredible rewards.
Because when you have a well-adjusted Cane Corso,
It's an amazing experience. They're incredibly loyal, loving, and protective dogs.
exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about health and behavior, but there's another crucial aspect of cane corso care we need to discuss.
Food.
You're right, their diet. It's super important for their overall health.
Absolutely. A balanced and nutritious diet is key for any dog, but especially for a large breed like a Cane Corso.
So what should I be looking for in a dog food for my cane corso? What are their specific nutritional needs?
Well, as a large breed, they need a diet that's high in protein.
Makes sense. They need that protein for muscle growth and development.
Exactly. And you want to make sure it's high-quality protein.
Okay, so what are some good sources of protein for them?
Look for dog foods that list meat as the first ingredient.
Okay,
Things like chicken, beef, lamb, fish, those are all good options.
so meat first. Got it. What else should I be looking for on the ingredient list? Are there things I should avoid?
Yeah, you want to try to avoid foods with a lot of fillers. Things like corn, wheat, and soy.
Fillers. Okay. Why are those bad?
They don't provide much nutritional value, and they can sometimes contribute to allergies or digestive issues.
So high quality protein, limited fillers. Got it. What about other nutrients?
They also need a good balance of healthy fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals.
Okay, that sounds like a lot to keep track of.
It's not too complicated. A lot of good quality dog foods are formulated to provide all of that.
That makes sense. Are there any specific nutrients that are particularly important for cane corsos?
Omega-3 fatty acids are really good for them.
Okay, I've heard of those. They're good for their skin and coat, right?
Yeah, and for joint health, too.
Awesome. So how much should I be feeding my cane corso?
That depends on a few things. Their age, how active they are, and their metabolism.
So a super energetic cane corso will need more food than a couch potato.
Exactly. You can use the feeding guidelines on the dog food bag as a starting point, but you'll need to adjust based on your dog's individual needs.
Okay, so start with the guidelines and then adjust as needed.
Right. And it's important to avoid free feeding.
Free feeding.
Yeah, that's when you leave food out all the time.
Oh, okay. Why is that bad?
It can lead to overeating and obesity, which can put extra stress on their joints and increase the risk of other health issues.
That makes sense. So scheduled meal times are the way to go.
Yes, a regular feeding routine helps regulate their digestion and keeps their weight in check.
All right, scheduled meals. Check. Any other feeding tips to keep in mind?
Make sure they always have access to fresh water, that's crucial. And be mindful of treats. Treats are great for rewards and training,
Right.
but they should be given in moderation. You don't want them filling up on treats and missing out on their balanced meals.
So no matter how much they beg with those puppy dog eyes, I need to resist giving them too many treats.
Exactly. Remember, a healthy diet is the foundation for a happy and healthy Cane Corso.
This has been so helpful. Thanks for all the great advice on feeding cane corsos. So it's all about balance, right? High quality protein, not too many fillers, healthy fats, and portion control.
That's it. You're giving them the fuel they need to live long, healthy, and active lives.
I'm feeling inspired to go home and make my cane corso the best dinner ever. But first, we have one more segment to go in our deep dive.
That's right. We're going to talk about some fun stuff.
We've covered the basics, but there's always more to learn, right?
There is. We're going to talk about how to enrich your Cane Corso's life, how to make sure they're not just surviving, but thriving.
I love it. So stay tuned for our final segment where we'll explore ways to make life even more fun and fulfilling for your cane corso. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. So far, we've been talking about all the essential stuff for cane corso care, right?
Yeah, grooming, health, nutrition, the foundations.
Exactly. But now we're getting to the really fun part.
My favorite part.
Enrichment. It's about going beyond just the basics to make sure your cane corso is not just living, but really thriving.
Exactly.
But I gotta be honest, when I hear enrichment, I'm like, what does that even mean for a dog? I mean, they've got food, a bed, toys.
Right, the
So
essential.
what else could they possibly need?
Well, think about it this way. You wouldn't want to just sit around all day with nothing to do, right?
Yeah.
You get bored.
Oh, totally.
You need things to challenge you mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, to feel happy and fulfilled.
Exactly. Dogs are the same way.
Okay, I can see that. So how do we actually do this? How do we enrich a Cane Corso's life? What kind of activities are we talking about?
There are so many ways. One of the easiest is puzzle toys.
Puzzle toys, like those things where they have to figure out how to get the trait out.
Exactly. They challenge them mentally.
To entertain.
It's all about problem-solving skills.
Right, so they have to work for it a little bit.
Exactly. And it keeps those brains engaged.
Okay, I like it. What other types of enrichment activities are there?
Scent work is another great one.
Scent work, so like training them to use their nose to find stuff.
Exactly. Cane Corsos have incredible noses, and scent work is a great way to tap into their natural hunting instincts.
Oh, that's interesting. I admit I don't really know anything about scent work. How does it actually work?
You can start simple, just hide treats or toys around the house or yard,
Okay.
and encourage them to sniff them out. As they get better, you can introduce more challenging scents. You can even sign them up for a scent work class.
Wow, I never would have thought of that. Sounds like a lot of fun.
It is, for both of you.
Okay, so we've got puzzle toys, scent work. What else? What other ways can I enrich my Cane Corso's life?
Training is also a great way to provide enrichment.
Training, right?
And I'm not just talking about basic obedience.
Oh, okay, so what kind of training are we talking about?
Think about teaching them some fun tricks.
Okay.
Agility,
Agility, right?
or even rally obedience.
Rally obedience. I'm not familiar with that one.
It's basically a dog sport where you and your dog navigate a course together, and there are signs along the way telling you what to do.
So it's a combination of obedience and agility.
You got it. It's a great way to challenge your dog mentally and physically.
And it sounds like fun. Can you do rally obedience anywhere?
You can practice at home, or you can even join a club.
Oh, cool. So you could actually compete.
Exactly.
Okay, so puzzle toys, scent work, training, lots of great ideas. Anything else I should be thinking about when it comes to enrichment?
It's important to remember that every dog is different.
Right, of course.
What one Cane Corso might love, another one might not be so into.
So it's all about finding what your dog enjoys.
Exactly. Pay attention to what they seem to really like and tailor the activities to their preferences.
Okay, that makes sense. So observe, adjust, and make it fun.
Exactly. And don't forget that Cane Corsos are social animals.
Oh, right. Socialization is super important.
They thrive on interaction, both with their human family and with other dogs.
So regular walks, trips to the dog park, play dates with other dogs, all of those are good.
Absolutely. Those are all great ways to help them socialize and stay happy.
But we should always supervise.
Always.
Yeah.
Especially if your Cane Corso isn't fully socialized yet.
Good point. Okay, so enrichment is about mental stimulation, physical challenges, letting them use their natural instincts, and making sure they get enough social interaction. That's a lot to keep in mind.
It is, but it's so worth it.
Why? I mean, besides just keeping them busy and happy.
Well, enrichment can actually help prevent a lot of those unwanted behaviors. Things like chewing, barking, digging, all that stuff.
Oh, so a bored dog is more likely to get into trouble.
Pretty much. And enrichment can also boost their confidence, reduce stress and anxiety, and strengthen that bond you share.
Wow, those are some amazing benefits. I'm definitely going to step up my enrichment game with my Cane Corso.
I think you'll both be happier for it.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Cane Corso care. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
We have.
From brushing to bathing, dental care to nail trims, understanding their health needs, training and socialization, and of course, making sure they're eating right.
And having fun along the way.
Exactly. Because a happy Cane Corso is a healthy Cane Corso. So for all of you Cane Corso lovers out there,
or for anyone thinking about getting one,
remember, these are amazing dogs, but they do have some specific needs.
understanding those needs and being prepared to meet them is key.
So do your research, talk to experienced owners and breeders, and be prepared for the journey.
It's an incredible journey, full of love, loyalty, and lots of slobbery kisses.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you enjoyed learning all about Cane Corso care. Until next time, happy tail wags from all of us.